Step 4. Outline follow-up scenes. The opening scene is a great place to start. Heck, it's literally in the name, right? But what happens after the opening scene? What comes next? And how can you prepare for that? A great way to plan ahead is to ask yourself what is most likely to happen after the opening scene. You might find inspiration for this in your notes or your review of the characters and factions. The answer should help you to come up with a few likely follow-up scenes. You should plan 3 to 5 scenes for each session, depending on its length. Let's assume, for example, that in your opening scene, the party finds the inn where the kidnapped princess is being held. Potential follow-up scenes may include the party trying to storm in, the party sneaking in unnoticed, or the party is gathering intelligence before committing to any course of action. Make a basic plan for each one of these options. What would a fight look like? What could happen if they try to sneak in? What will they discover if they ask around? Warning, don't get into too many details. Let's start out with a rough plan for these 3 options: storming in, sneaking in, or gathering intel. You should paint the follow-up scenes in broad strokes, since the players will only choose 1 or 2 of the scenes you plan. Don't spend too much time trying to predict every possible course of action your players may choose. Remember, players' decisions are riddles wrapped in mystery inside a bag of holding. So, be ready with a few follow-up scenes and adapt those as events unfold. It's also important to avoid planning too far ahead. We recommend planning 3 to 5 scenes because we GMs tend to get ahead of ourselves and start planning scenes that will likely happen a few sessions in the future. If you want to plan that far ahead, cool, but make sure you are done with the scenes for the next session first. For example, it's a fine idea to map out the inn structure and occupants, but planning the celebratory feast the heroes might get after rescuing the prince, less so. Over time, you will get a better feel for your party's pace per session, and you will be able to prep the right amount of material required for your game. Prepping too much material is a common occurrence for game masters, so don't sweat it. Planning too much simply means that you can save some stuff for your next session. Here is a practical tool that really helps me with planning my scenes. I ask myself, what is cool about this scene? And I make sure that there is at least one thing in every scene that I find cool. For example, if I plan for a group of guards to rush into the ballroom in the middle of a masquerade ball, what's cool about that? Well, maybe the guards are also in costume, dressed as various farm animals. Or maybe they rappel from the balcony. Or maybe they have grav boots and they can only move in huge leaps. Using this tool helps me to create a bunch of potential scenes with at least one distinctive flair to each. I can prep the scene focusing on that core coolness and trust that the other elements in the scene will fade into the background a bit. This concept helped me to create a bunch of potential scenes without prepping each one in depth. And once you have the outline of several follow-up scenes, you pretty much have your session layout in front of you.